Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Green. I'm a teaching artist with Arts for Learning and I'm super excited to come here today and present a project to you. It's going to be inspired by an artist named Matisse. And Matisse was a painter. He was an amazing painter, and at some point in his life he became too ill to paint like he did before, but he didn't give up making art. He realized that he could use scissors and glue and paper to make art. And that's what we're going to do today. He called it cutouts, but we also call it drawing with scissors. So we're going to be drawing with scissors and creating our own versions of Matisse's, and it's going to be super fun. If you want to learn more about Matisse, you can check out the website below, and please do. He's like a really wonderful artist, so it'd be fun to explore some of his work. But before we look at one of Matisse's works today, I want to talk to you about shape, because shape is really important in this project, because we're going to be using scissors and glue to cut out shapes. So I want to make sure you guys have those down. So we think of shapes as being in two different categories. One of them is geometric. You know geometric shapes. You've been looking at geometric shapes your entire lives. And you also know that geometric shapes have lots of rules. They have angles, they have sides, they have symmetry. If you cut a rectangle in half, it's symmetrical. If you cut a diamond in half, it's symmetrical. Both sides are the same. If you cut a circle in half, both sides are the same. So it has symmetry, it has angles, it has vertices, it has rules. The other kind of shape is what we call freeform shape. And freeform shapes, they have no rules. And we also call them organic shapes as well. They can be referred to either word. And that's because it's a very organic looking shape. Think about it like if you spill milk on the floor, it's not going to create a perfect circle. It's going to be more freeform. If you look at a lake from the sky, it's going to be more freeform. If you look at clouds, they're freeform. The overall shape of a tree leaves, they're freeform. So it's a very organic, natural shape. But the nice thing about freeform shapes is they have no rules. They can be whatever. So it's exciting to be able to work with them because you get to create shapes that have never existed before, which is so much fun. So we're gonna look at Matisse's Beasts of the Sea. And when you're looking at the Beasts of the Sea, I want you to think about what shapes you're seeing. Is he using more geometric shapes? Is he using more freeform shapes? How is he representing the sea? Does it really look like the sea? Or does it look like beasts in the sea? Where can you see those creatures? What kind of colors is he using? How are those colors reflecting the ocean and the sea and creatures within it? So have fun looking at this image, and then after we're looking at this image, I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to create your own version. So enjoy it for a minute or two and really look at it, think about all those things, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so now you've had a chance to look at Matisse's work, let me show you how you're going to construct your own version of a Matisse. Here's the things you need. You need paper, colored paper, so I have construction paper here, and I have full sheets of construction paper, and I have a bunch of scrappy paper. It's up to you. If you have those things, that's wonderful. If you don't have scraps, don't worry about it. We're going to create some of our own. And if you don't have full sheets of construction paper, you can use, I found these pieces out of a magazine. So a lot of times magazines will have sheets that have a lot of color, but not a lot of words or pictures or text on them. So if you can find some sheets like this, that's great too. If you get a little something else on it, no big deal. But that's a nice alternative if you don't have construction paper at home. So before you begin, and you need your glue stick. If you have glue sticks, that's ideal. If you do not have glue stick and you have liquid glue, that's awesome as well. And scissors, of course. So next thing you need to do is you need to think about what your theme is. What are you going to be creating? Matisse he was looking at the creatures of the sea. Maybe you want to do the beach, or maybe you want it to be in a park, or maybe you want it to be the forest. Maybe you just want to be at your backyard. And what kind of fun shapes and things, because I know you saw a lot of great freeform shapes in Matisse's work. So my theme, I think, is going to be the park. So I want to be in the park. And so I'm going to put my picture horizontally, because that reminds me more of my landscape that I'm going to be creating. And Matisse had all these little structures in his. You can do that if you want, or you don't have to. The idea is that we're going to be creating these freeform shapes. And since I'm in the park, I think I want to start with making some grass. So I have this piece of green scrap paper here, and I'm going to cut the bottom of it off to make my grass. So I'm going to start by cutting, and I'm going to make my grass wavy. I like wavy, hilly grass. I've been saying we're playing in the park a lot, walking around, looking at all the daisies, and so I'm very inspired by that right now. But you might be inspired by something else, and that's good. So you notice which hand is doing all the work, and what are my scissors doing while I'm cutting? Okay, so I cut off a little piece of grass, and I have some space over here, and that's okay. I'm going to fill it with something else. But you notice when I'm cutting, my scissors, I'm using this part of my scissors, not the top part, but the bottom part. And my scissors are just going bite, 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 bite. And the hand that's holding the paper is doing all the moving. This gives you way more control. Take your time when you're cutting. All right, so I have some grassy bits. Oh, and I think I need a tree. So I'm going to make a nice freeform tall tree. And again, watch, my scissors are just taking those bites. My hand that's holding the scissors is doing all the cutting. I'm going to make it like tall cypress-like tree. So I'm going to go here. And see how I'm cutting those out. Because, you know, you're in the park, you need trees. I don't always just see cypress trees, but that's just what inspired me right now. And that's okay, because remember, we're not making something realistic. Okay. So here's my tree. All right, now it's been super sunny out, so maybe I want a sun. So I'm going to take this piece of scrap, and I'm just going to cut out a square. That square is going to start my thing. Okay. And now I'm going to cut out my sun. I'm not going to try and cut out a perfect circle sun, because we're doing this all in Matisse. So I'm going to kind of do a hot, wavy sun. Because it's been hot, so I'm going to do a hot wavy sun. And you can make your sun with rays too if you want to. I'm just going to do this one. This is my fun sun, and I'm going to put it down here. Oh, and maybe I want to have a bird in the sky. That would be fun. And remember, you notice how I'm using my scissors like my pencil. I'm drawing with it. So I'm going to cut out a rectangle or a square again, and I'm going to turn this into a bird. So I'm going to start in the corner because I want the bird's tail. And then I'm going to curve it this way to make the belly. So see, I'm visualizing my belly there. And then I'm going to come back to make the beak. Okay. And then I'm going to finish my beak. And then I'm going to do a round. So I'm making it round now to make the head. And then I'm going to, oh, he needs wings. So I'm going to go straight up to the edge of the paper to make the wing. And if you want some white paper to make some clouds, you can do that too. Oh, and then I'm going to just finish off my little tail, and here I have my little freeform bird right on with a big head. Oh, and then I'm going to look at my scraps. Oh, look at these scraps that I made. Oh, this one's kind of fun. I wonder if it can become part of my park somehow. Well, we'll look at that. You always pay attention to your scraps, because you get the best things out of your scraps. I'm going to make an orange person. So this is how you're going to make a freeform. So we show you how you see how you made the sun, see how I made the wavy grass, I made my little freeform bird. And if you want to make a freeform person, maybe frolicking in the grass or playing, or maybe you can make multiple ones. I'm going to visualize my head. So I'm going to start with the head. So I'm going to start by making a curvy line on this side and a curvy line on that side. And then I'm going to decide what my arms are doing. Is my arm going down? Is it going to the side? Is it going up? I think I want mine going up. So I'm going to go from that little neck spot that I stopped at, and I'm going to go all the way up to the corner and stop. Okay, And then I'm going to come back and make the rest of my arm. So that's going to go along here, like that. And then I'm going to curve around, and then I'm going to decide if my foot is out, is it up, which direction is it going. I think this foot's going to go down. So you see I went all the way to the bottom of the paper, and then I'm going to cut up to where my leg ends, and then maybe this leg is going to the side. So I'm going to cut to the side, going all the way to the edge of the paper. And then I'm going to cut from this side, and then I'm going to go, maybe this arm is going out this direction. So this time I'm going to cut to this edge of the paper, and then I'm going to finish off my arm like that. So see how I just built it up by drawing each line as it came along? And now I have my person who could be frolicking in the, maybe waving at the bird. And then you can also cut out flowers. So maybe I'm going to have some orange and yellow flowers. So I'm going to take this little piece of scrap from my person, and I'm just going to kind of do the same thing. It just needs to be free form. It doesn't have to be a perfect flower. Okay, and maybe my flower's on the grass. And then I need a yellow flower. Let me see, do I have another piece of scrap yellow? That's going to be, oh, I have one up here. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this one just like my other one. And maybe it'll be a little different. And you can make your flowers however you want, but remember they're freeform, so whatever you come up with is going to be fabulous. All right, got there. And then I'm gonna look at my scraps again, because sometimes you get some really good inspiration from your scraps to see what they look like. This one, let me see. If I were doing the ocean, this one could be a whale, but I'm not doing the ocean. And this one, oh, this one looks like a ramp. Okay, but you know what? I'm not gonna, once you have your elements that you want, you notice I haven't glued one thing down. Don't be too quick to glue, because once you have all the things, like, oh, I just like that scrap, so I'm gonna hold on to it. And you can do a lot more things, but out of the sake of time, I encourage you to make more than what I'm making, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to stop there. And maybe I think I want my grass over on this side, and I want the tree over here. Okay, and then maybe I'm going to want to put my sun on this side, and maybe my person is over here. And see how my person can be overlapping from the tree? You notice I have things going on top of one another, so the flowers are on top of the grass. This person is overlapping the tree, so that makes the tree go behind the person, right? So he's in front of the tree. And then maybe I have like a little rampy thing over here in this corner. Or maybe I like, ooh, I have this little orange thing. Maybe I have like a dirt hill. So see, I found this other scrap, and it looks like a dirt hill. So maybe I want that dirt hill coming up before my grass, and I would put a lot more flowers if I had more time. And then maybe my tree is going to be behind, and I want my person, maybe now that I have this big orange hill over here, I'm going to move my person over here. Maybe he's leaping because he's having so much fun. And the bird's coming over here. So you see how I can play around with it? I can move it from different spots and see how I like it better. And if you glue it down right away, you don't have that opportunity. And it's fun to explore and think about overlapping things, putting things on top. What kind of shapes are you creating? I could make some geometric shapes to make like a house or something like that if you really wanted to. You could have some stripes going through. Maybe you want to have like a little wave of air. So I'm going to do like a little wave to make it look like a little wind coming through. You can do that, but play around with it. Don't be too quick to glue and get married to one thing. So play around before you glue down. And when you're gluing, so once you find out where you want yours to be, when you glue, you want to put the glue on the back of the object you're sticking. So it's on the object, it's on the shape. Glue the shape, not the background. And I know that this flower is going on top of the grass here, so I'm going to put this flower up here. If you're using the Elmer's glue, or the liquid glue, whatever kind you have, my motto is ... You don't need a lot. dot, dot, dot. You don't need a lot. And so see, I'm making these little dots, and I'm not putting them all the way to the edge because that glue is going to spread when you stick it down. But just a few little dots, and then I'm going to stick it to my grass here. And there you go. So have fun creating these. We're going to hit the pause. Go ahead and hit the pause button. Make sure when you're done you put your glue stick lid on, or you close up your glue. And I'm going to meet you back here when you're done with your piece. So all right, now that you've made your Matisses, I hope you had a lot of fun making them. And now I want you to find a friend or a family member, somebody in your home, or you can write down, what were you thinking about when you made this piece? What did you find difficult? What did you find easy? And now that you know how to do this, what are you going to make next with this technique? So happy art making, and stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.